Good morning, and I know we're a little bit late, but excuse us for that. Before we start our meeting for November 16th, 2022, we always start with a prayer, and we're honored to have Jason Bowman from Solid Rock Church with us again today. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. Good morning, everybody. Please bow your head and pray with me today. Lord, we thank you for a good day. We thank you for this great nation. Lord, we thank you for the democracy that we enjoy and the freedom that comes along with the United States of America. But most of all, we thank you for Jesus, who was born to set us free from sin. So we ask and implore in his name that you cover our nation, you break division. Lord, we ask that you surround us with love and bring us to a place of unity. We ask, Lord, for chains of addiction, physically and in the spirit, Lord, to break and help us to prefer our fellow man. Today, Lord, I pray for wisdom to be given to Miss Corcoran, Mr. Painter, and Miss Batchelor. I ask, Lord, that in financial decisions and fiscal responsibility, guide them, Lord, to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. I ask also in other decisions, Lord, help them to be just and have wisdom beyond their years, just like Solomon. You said, Lord, that you would give it liberally if we but ask. Surround them with faithful, creative, and hardworking people, Lord, as they go forward in their elected positions. And we thank you that you give all of us the tools we need to accomplish our destiny. Most of all, Lord, help them to cling to mercy and truth. For you said in Proverbs 3 that in doing so, we would find favor with God and with man. We thank you for your mercy, your wisdom, and your direction as your kingdom comes and your will is done. Oh, and by the way, Lord, since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Commissioner Painter, would you lead us in the pledge?
Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Are you going to run out for the snow?
Yeah, I've got to get my sled.
Okay. He said it was flurrying out there.
It is.
Okay. First on the agenda is the approval of the regular session minutes of November 9th. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Public participation? Don't see anyone. Item E is the non-consent agenda. Board, you've had this in time to review. Do I have an approval for this? Any corrections or deletions?
We want to go to D first or not? Consent? Are we on consent?
I said non-consent, didn't I?
I just didn't know if you were trying to trick me.
No, I was trying to
Thank you.
trick you. You caught it. Thank you. Non-consent. We'll do that one next. Item D, consent agenda. I'm sorry. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Told you it's been a bad morning. Moving on to item E,
Have
non-consent.
a roll call.
Roll call, please, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Can I go to non-consent now?
Oh, yes, you can.
Thank you. Item 15 is a recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners adopt resolution number 163-22, resolving to approve payment to vendors in the total amount of $4,813,355.41 as set forth in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated November 16th, 2022, BCC directed prepaid invoices report, and or the procurement card transaction report as presented by the county auditor on November 14th, 2022, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants for same pursuant to section 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Morning, Connie.
Good morning. Item number 16 is the recommendation to execute an Ohio Department of Job and Family Services Title IV Child Placement Agreement between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and the Village Network located in Worcester, Ohio, for multiple needs residential treatment services for a specific child referred by the Department of Job and Family Services and/or Clermont County Juvenile Court at the rates identified, effective for September the 12th of 2022 through September the 11th of 2023, for the terms and conditions specified and contingent upon the release of the required purchase order.
Thank you. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 16. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. 17.
Recommendation to execute an Ohio Department of Job and Family Services Title IV Child Placement Agreement between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and Children Have Options and Caring Environments Incorporated, doing business as Choices Incorporated, for special needs independent living services for a specific child referred by DJFS or Clermont County Juvenile Court at the rates identified. It's effective for October the 12th of 2022 through November 11th of 2023 for the terms and conditions specified and contingent upon the release of the required purchase order.
Thank you. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 17. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran. Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. 18.
Recommendation to authorize Bonnie J. Batchelor, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute the Professional Development Academy LLC enrollment agreement between the County of Clermont and the Professional Development Academy LLC for online high-performance leadership training for the staff of the Department of Job and Family Services, Children's Protective Services Division, for a total amount not to exceed $19,950, effective January the 9th of 2023 through April 14th of 2023, for the terms and conditions specified and contingent upon the release of the required purchase order.
Thank you. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 18. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
One other thing that is contingent upon the approval of the appropriations for 2023.
Thank you.
Thank you.
19.
Recommendation to appoint the following representative to serve on the Clermont County Family Services Planning Committee for the purpose of gathering public input, reviewing and making program recommendations, and developing and maintaining a community plan to implement Ohio Works First in compliance with Section 329.06 of the Ohio Revised Code and other programs established under Chapter 5107, Ohio Works First Program, and Chapter 5108, Preventive Retention and Contingency Program of the Ohio Revised Code. And this is for the appointment of Chris Curtin, the Director of Clermont County Special Education, and is effective for the period of 1/1/2023 through 12/31 of 2024.
Thank you. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 19. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I will second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Staying.
Thank you. Good morning, Kennedy.
So item number 20 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 164-22 to authorize myself, Kennedy Briggs, Grants Coordinator, to file an application and to authorize the full execution of the grant application with the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction, 4545 Fisher Road, Suite D, Columbus, Ohio, 43228, for the Capital Improvement Local Jails Projects Grant in the amount of $1,013,250.40, with Clermont County providing $200,000 in matching funds provided by the County Capital Fund, for a total project or program budget of $1,213,250.40 for the purpose of necessary renovations and upgrades to the Clermont County Jail in compliance with the terms and conditions included in the grant.
Thank you, Kennedy. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 20. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Kennedy, not to put you on the spot,
Mhm.
what, just overall, what are those renovations? And
So we have 5 different quote unquote projects that we're applying for. There is the replacement of some flooring, some tiles are popping up. We have Major here as well, if you want to ask him any questions as well. Some flooring that's popping up that is causing some issues. It's tile work. So we're looking to replace that. Well, not replace it. I guess they're going to tear that out and maybe do some polishing on the concrete floor. Is that correct? And then a sapphire sprinkler system in their IT hub room needs replaced. It's currently on, I guess, just a regular sprinkler system, which could damage all of the controls in there if it was triggered. And then some HVAC systems in both the north and south wings, and as well as a fire panel is causing some issues and setting off some false fire alarms in the jail. So the replacement of that as well.
We've been down that route with the water damage and remember
Yeah.
the court system
Yeah.
right up.
and I think you said that replacement of that particular system is with the Halon system. Is that what you're going to use for that?
Sapphire.
Sapphire. Okay,
Anything else?
that's it.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchel.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kennedy.
Commissioners, just giving credit to Kennedy and the Department of Economic Development working with the jail, and thanks to the jail, several meetings to facilitate this grant.
Great,
So it's much needed.
great work. Thank you.
Good morning, Chris.
Morning. This is a recommendation to authorize Bonnie Batchelor, President of the Board of the County Commissioners, to execute a statement of work between Clermont County Board of County Commissioners and Cincinnati Bell Technology Solutions of Cincinnati for penetration test and security program assessment on the county's computing environment against a multitude of threats and attacks, including but not limited to security testing, phishing, vulnerability scanning, penetration testing, etc., in the amount of $33,120, effective upon execution and contingent upon the release of the required purchase order.
Thank you. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 21. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second,
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran, Commissioner Batchel.
Yes. Good morning.
I'm Laurie Schluter with Clermont County EMA. Recommendation to execute the state-local grant agreement between the State of Ohio Department of Public Safety, Ohio Emergency Management Agency, and the Clermont County Emergency Management Agency for the FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, FEMA DR 4507ROH, in the amount of $245,700 with a required local match of $27,300 for a total program budget amount of $273,000, as outlined below, for the acquisition of and demolition of 653 Old US 52 in New Richmond for purposes compatible with open space, recreational, or wetlands management practices in accordance with deed restrictions in perpetuity, effective for the period of 10/3/2022 through 10/3/2024, and to designate Pam Haverkoss as the authorized agent for the Board of County Commissioners, responsible for the administration and implementation of the grant in compliance with the terms and conditions of the grant.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 22. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, let's talk about this one specifically. I understand this property is located at 653 US 52. Current owners have actually purchased this property in 2014.
14, that is
I believe
correct.
that's right.
Right.
I believe they purchased the property for somewhere, I think around $183,000, somewhere there, something close or something less.
We're offering.
I think originally it was 156, but I know that the value is considered a little bit higher than that. I don't have that number with me.
Right. I think the value last appraised that's shown on the county network at the auditor's office is 183. Okay. Property was purchased, mortgaged, mortgage insurance included flood insurance.
Right.
It was listed in a floodplain when the people actually bought the property.
Yes, that is correct.
It's been impacted 3 times since then, I think.
Yeah.
All three times have had insurance pay for for the damages that were there, I believe.
That I am not sure about. I know they make claims.
The house had been, that particular piece of property, I think that farm or whatever was there at one time, dates all the way back into the 1800s. It was rebuilt into a 2-story structure. The bottom story in the pictures that are on the website shows the only thing that was in that bottom story when they bought this property was a water heater and an HVAC system. The rest of it was like unfinished concrete walls, which gives way to typical houses that are built in the New Richmond area or built in an elevated area. This one just brings the question to me of why this particular property is being positioned for this when there are many, many pieces of property. And the other thing is, this property obviously has a value. Why would we want to mitigate this property in Clermont County and it be that identified property? And then why would we want to pay market value for this property when it's in a floodplain?
Well, okay, several points there. You are correct. It is my understanding that the first floor was treated previously to the purchase by the current owner as similar to a basement, although it is where you walk directly into it.
Right.
The gentleman, the current owner, yes, he knew it wasn't a floodplain. I think that from what I've been told is that he was not aware of exactly how bad it would flood and how often, because obviously he had to purchase the flood insurance, so he knew it was already in the floodplain.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why the property was chosen was because he actually requested assistance. So he had contacted the township wanting to know if there was any way to help because he had been flooded for 3 times. And as I said, I know he did make claims. I'm not sure exactly how much the insurance had paid out. He contacted the township, and the township, obviously being aware that in the past we had done some purchase buy-ups from the 97 flood. FEMA came in and purchased a number. There was a number of acquisitions. There's some elevations and things like that. So the township then contacted us, the EMA department, to determine if this was something that would be feasible, to which FEMA puts out every year grants, the mitigation grants. Right. The mitigation grants. Now, this particular one is every time there is any type of disaster declared by the president, they offer mitigation funding after to help solve some of the problems that have occurred from some of the natural disasters. So when he requested it, we applied on his behalf to see if this was something that would work through. It is, there has been damages. I do agree that there are some. Obviously, it only gets through the first floor. But the gentleman, after he purchased it, not aware of the amount of flooding and how often, he actually renovated the first floor to make it a living space. Because if it was considered only a basement, then not a living space, then it wouldn't have been eligible because they won't give any funding. FEMA will not give anything that's not a living space.
Mm-hmm.
So now, as to, it will be fair market value. One of the costs included in the grant is we will do an appraisal right off the bat once it's approved and determine what the fair market value is. The owner has the option of, if he doesn't agree with that, he can go get his own appraisal at his own cost. And then just as if you were purchasing a regular home, you would have a negotiation that could occur.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, I understand what you're saying. There are certainly a lot of other properties that probably in the same situation. It happened in this particular case that he came to us requesting assistance. So, I mean, if there's other properties within the county along the river that have flooding issues the same as him, they can contact us just as he did, and we can see whether it would be a viable option. Properties have to be, it has to be in the floodplain, and they have to have had damages, flooding on a living space area. I believe it's 3 times. I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up to have the exact number, but.
Do we know what the demolition cost is on this?
We estimated approximately for the demolition and for if we reseed the property and fixing it up from the demolition at about $40,000. That's included in the whole 273.
And that tear down includes a 3-car
That is
attached garage that is not impacted by flooding, I understand.
correct.
Okay. And in the house that we're asking to mitigate and to tear down, that's shown on the web page at the auditor's office as a 2-family.
That is correct. That is correct. I'm not sure the reasoning behind that. That's something we'd have to check with the auditors.
Mhm.
I do know that there has been in the past, sometimes homes that are 2 stories and the way they're done, I'm not positive on that, but it has an outside entrance to the 2nd floor. So a lot of times those are designated. But I'm not positive on that. I'd have to verify that.
And the $27,300 match is being done out of the community block grant.
That is the plan. What they do have to do is verify, as it said, it's the blight funds, the blighted properties. They will have to go out and verify that because there's steps that they have to go through to determine for sure that that is the case. And
So
economic
really the
development will.
245 that's there and plus the 27.3, it takes it to the 273.3 number. That let's just talk about that for a second.
Okay.
If he goes out and gets an independent assessment,
Mhm.
and let's just say that this house, especially in the elevated market we're in right now, when you're talking about fair market value, if it was on the books for 183, in 20 or so, or whenever the last appraisal was, in today's market, this could be well above 273,000. And then we have to spend the $45,000 to tear the facility down. And then it's going to become a piece of property owned by the park district. Is that who's going to have this
It would
property?
actually be owned by the county,
Mhm.
the commissioners. And it would be up to your recommendation as to what is done with the property. Now, currently, has been discussed that the park district actually take over the property. They don't own connected to this property, but they own the area, a couple of lots above it, where the old golf course used to be. And there has been discussion about an extension of the Ohio River Bike Trail. So they have considered the possibility of using that property for part of the bike trail, or I know they had also discussed maybe up like a parking lot for people to park and then they can use it. Or I don't know if that was something that was discussed about maybe because the water department also has lands right in that area, although I think it's just
We have a water treatment plant almost.
right there.
Catty corner to it is our PUD water treatment plant.
And you have wells right across the highway, right?
Correct. So this all is in our wellhead protection area as well.
Right. I know in the past, there have been some cases where some of the properties have been turned over to like the townships. It just has to be, the property cannot be, there can't be any buildings put on it. It basically has to stay uninhabited, no buildings, or if there's buildings, it has to be open so that the flooding will not damage them. You can put a park restroom or things like that there.
And
But-
Lori,
Oh, go ahead. No, you go.
Lori, if I could just point out again, we did not approach them. They approached
Yes.
you for this. It wasn't like we handpicked that one place.
That is correct. They just were after the last one was, I believe, 2021. That was, in fact, I believe that was about, because mitigation is a long process. It takes us a long time to get through the grant process. They contacted because they were, what do we do? We've got this property that now keeps flooding and we didn't realize how bad it was. Could we get some assistance? And that's how this came about.
And you've done a real good job explaining it. And my only intention is to get the features of that out, because when people see this, there will
Oh,
be
yeah.
other people who will be like,
And
well,
that's
I'd like
why
to
I
get my
wanted to-
property mitigated.
That's
you know?
why I wanted to point out, they approached us. We
Right.
did not go to
Well,
them.
and that's exactly what I said. If somebody else, if there's other properties, absolutely contact us. Again, this is generally a 2-year process for us to even get it approved. But every time there is a disaster that's declared by the feds, they do offer additional funding. It just hasn't happened since
And the only other
97.
question I had was the match, the community block grant. And you'd said that, it has to still qualify
Right.
for that block grant, because this is in an area on a dead end part of Old 52 that there's nothing around. I think Aunt Oxier owns the property across from it.
Right, yeah.
and somewhere in that vicinity, in which that's not going to come available for a long time. Typically, CDBG monies are used for low and medium income areas. They're used for purposes that benefit the entire neighborhood or the entire area, which this is really, the benefit is to one person. It's not to a whole community here. So that's why I asked the questions.
Do you want to see what the evaluation is now on it before we move or not?
I think we should, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
How long would that take, do you think?
I don't know what it would take.
I mean, we could do, I guess we could do an appraisal out of, I guess, existing funds, if I can find it, to pay for the appraisal before the grant is approved, if that's what you're requesting.
I believe we should, to be clear and be upfront. It's like, you bought this piece of property, you knew the dangers in it, but now you want more than what you actually paid for it. So I think we need to find out.
If we take a little time on this, is there any particular date certain, that we would lose the opportunity to do this or anything? We don't want to impact the process.
I don't believe so. I would have to verify. I don't think they gave us a deadline for turning in the agreement. Obviously, we have 2 years on the grant itself. Did you,
Yeah, it looks like on the topic.
was it the 30 days or the?
By 11/26.
Okay, so they were requesting it back within, yeah.
Why we're here today, because of the board's schedule. Our next meeting is not until the 28th, I believe.
So we would miss that deadline.
So I would think, we've brought out all the information out
did.
here.
And we
We've
said
been as transparent as we could be.
And we said we'd go do an appraisal and do
Right.
fair market values.
And if it would happen that it exceeds these values, our approval today would not apply.
If it exceeds the values, then we will have to, reprocess because we don't have additional funding other than what is on here.
Okay.
So if it were to end up going above those totals, it would not, we'd have to start over, I believe.
Start over.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like I said, you've done a great job explaining it.
Thank
So
you.
thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
We ready for a vote or?
Mhm.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, thank you, Laura.
Thanks, Lori.
Morning, Lyle.
We're going to be just as hard on you today, Lyle.
I'm ready. Item number 23 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 165-22 to determine to make improvements for the construction, operation, and maintenance of the Summit Elevated Tank Evaluation, Rehabilitation, and Coatings Application Project located in Batavia Township and designated as project number 6401-60176 pursuant to the specifications and estimate of cost and financing, and to be paid from one or more of any combination of the Waterworks Capital Improvement Fund, any portion of any federal or state grant or loan should such become available, and or by the issuance of notes or bonds pursuant to section 133.08 of the Ohio Revised Code, and payable from revenues derived from water rates and charges levied for the operation of the Clermont County Waterworks System, and further to approve the request to advertise for bids pursuant to the plans and specs, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in a newspaper of general circulation on Thursday, December 1st, 2022. Schedule a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting on Thursday, January 19th, 2023 at 10 a.m. with bids to be received until 2:00 p.m. local time on Thursday, January 26th, 2023, here in the Office of the Board of County Commissioners, 101 East Main Street, Batavia, where they will be publicly open and read aloud shortly thereafter, and the notice will also be posted on the county's website. So the engineer's estimate for this project, the painting project, is $814,000. The tank was originally constructed in 1979 and was last repainted in 1995. We try to repaint them every 20 years approximately, so we're a little bit beyond that time frame. But it includes the new paint scheme also that we presented earlier in the year. So it'll be our first tank that we're going to be repainting with the new scheme.
Thank you. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 23. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thank you, Lyle.
Thanks.
Good morning, Yvonne.
Yvonne Smith, Benefit Plan Coordinator for Clermont County. It is my recommendation to authorize Bonnie J. Batchelor, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute the Transparency CAA Section 204 Reporting Service Addendum to the participating agreement between Clermont County, Ohio, and Optum RX of Illinois, and to acknowledge the compensation schedule as defined in the addendum on page 2, Article 7, Compensation, Premium 1 Services attached for the provision of services for the prescription drug plan effective for the period of 1/1 of 2020 through 12/31 of 2021.
Thank you. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 24. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second.
Any discussion?
Why did this go back to 20 and 21?
This is part of the government's Transparency Act for the medical plans. And the reporting is actually due, it cannot be done until the year is finished. So they have to go back and look at all of the documentation. And the first report was due at the end of this year. So Optum was very gracious to go ahead and pull all of this data for us and just as an addendum to their contract.
Thank you.
Yvonne, was that the report for calendar year 2021?
2020 and 2020.
For a 2-year?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Just making
And it's $1,000 each year.
Great. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yvonne. Gail, you got 25?
Sure,
I got your name down here.
you
must-
do? Okay. Well, this is for the Board of County Commissioners. It's the Young Women's Christian Association of Greater Cincinnati, their application for funding for fiscal year 2021 relative to shelters for victims of domestic violence. This is a recommendation to approve the application for the Young Women's Christian Association of Greater Cincinnati. And this was received on 9/30/22, and it is for the release of funds collected as fees for the issuance of marriage licenses and for the release of funds collected as fees for additional costs in each action or proceeding for annulments, divorces, or dissolutions of marriage from 1/1/23 through 12/31/23. And pursuant to section 3113.34 and 2303.201 of the Ohio Revised Code, it operates the House of Peace, which is a domestic violence shelter, and the funds that we collected through the year 1/1/23 through 12/31/23 are estimated not to exceed the amount of $36,590. And they're collected in calendar year 2021 pursuant to and in compliance with section 3113.35 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Thank you, Gail. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 25. Do I have a motion to approve?
Board, at this time, I'd like to ask that item number 25 be tabled to the next meeting so we can get an exact answer as to how many clients were actually served in Clermont County. Aaron graciously went through background for me, and so did Gail, and we've been searching for the numbers. I have not seen any number since 2017 as to the actual amount of adult women and children that were served by that department, or excuse me. It's a nonprofit organization, YWCA, and at 898 Walnut Street, Cincinnati. And I'm just asking for the statistics as to how many are served before we allot the money.
Reach out to them.
We'll do
And-
that. Did you-
You're asking for it to be tabled?
Yes, to the next meeting.
So you're making a motion for that?
Yes, please.
And before I would consider a second on that motion, I would just let you know that it won't matter to me, how they were served. This is a particular issue I'll vote no on. And it won't matter if it's next week or if it's the week after that. I'll vote no.
All right, thank you.
You'll vote no for supporting it?
That's correct.
Okay.
So we can table, is it all right if we table? it?
Absolutely.
At least get the
Absolutely.
figures. Thank
I'll
you.
second the table.
One thing I can say is that it's a statutory requirement. It isn't? We give
Well,
these
it's
funds
through the
out?
statute, but it's an application for the funds.
Okay.
Right.
Well, it's just going along through 311, 3.34. That is the reason we follow it.
Thank you.
Okay.
So the motion is to table until you want to do a specific date, which would be the next meeting.
Next meeting.
which is November 28th.
It'd be fine.
Okay.
That's right with the
And we'll get
board.
the information that you need.
Okay.
And, you know, I would just further go on to say that, you know, I'm not against, you know, having facilities for domestic violence. That's not the issue at all. You know, the women's organization has changed over many years, and their lobbying efforts in Washington and for other legislation that is on the books is not something that I want to support or lobby for.
Understood.
Okay.
Understood.
Okay.
I guess we need a second to the
Wait.
table.
He did.
I second it.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
BJ, you're up.
Morning.
Good morning.
What item was this?
Item 26 is a recommendation to approve the request to advertise for requests for proposals for adult inmate medical, dental, and mental health services and juvenile detention center medical and mental health services pursuant to the specifications set forth therein, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in a newspaper of general circulation on Thursday, December 1st, 2022, and Thursday, December 8th, 2022, scheduling a non-mandatory pre-proposal meeting on Monday, December 19th, 2022 at 9:30 a.m. at the Clermont County Jail located at 4700 East Villager Road, Batavia, Ohio 45103, with said proposals to be received until 2 p.m. local time on Thursday, December 29th, 2022, in the office of the Board of County Commissioners located at 101 East Main Street, Batavia, Ohio 45103, where they shall be publicly opened and acknowledged thereafter pursuant to and in compliance with Section 307.862 of the Ohio Revised Code. This notice will also be posted on Clermont County's website at the following URL link, www.clermontcountyohio.gov.
Thank you. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 26. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, thank you. 27, Aaron, I think you have this one.
Number 27 is a recommendation to approve the following request for reimbursement of expenses for training and travel. And this is for Commissioner Batchelor for one day, Columbus, Ohio, to attend the County Commissioners Association of Ohio 2022 Winter Conference. Total estimated not to exceed $350.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 27. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
I will abstain. 28, Aaron?
28 is a recommendation to approve following request for reimbursement of expenses for training and travel. And this is for Commissioner Corcoran to travel to Columbus, Ohio to attend the County Commissioner Association of Ohio 2022 Winter Conference. And the total expenses estimated not to exceed $400.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 28. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I will second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Abstain.
Item 29, Mary Raines. See, we saved the best to last.
Item number 29 is a request to increase the 2022 annual appropriations for the Narcotics Unit Fund in the amount of $20,000 for salaries, and this is due to a retirement payout that had happened during the year.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 29. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
Do I have a
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thank you, Mary. Item F, additions to the agenda.
We have two, but I think I want to take these one at a time if we could.
And we
The first is setting the public hearing for the costs associated with the fees for the animal shelter. So we authorized the study last week, and now we have to establish the public hearing.
Okay. Can we make a motion to put both of them on the agenda, though?
Well, no, it's just one.
Just one?
Yeah,
Okay.
So let's do that, and then
Can I have a motion to add?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor, oops, excuse me, Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
She forgot.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Hi, Tim.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a recommendation to authorize the clerk of the board to place a notice of public hearing in the Clermont Sun on November 17, 2022, to publish the date, time, and place of the public hearing relative to the study authorized by the Board of County Commissioners pursuant to Resolution 162-22, which was passed on November 9, 2022, as it relates to the cost to the county for fees charged for the care, housing, feeding, seizing, and disposition of the dogs. The public hearing is to be held Monday, December 5th, 2022, at 11 a.m. local time in the office of the County Board of Commissioners, which is located at 101 East Main Street here in Batavia.
Why are you looking at me?
Roll call, please.
You need a motion?
We didn't make a motion.
That's why I looked at you. I was waiting.
I said, why are you looking at me?
So moved.
Okay, Dave.
And second?
Oh, I'll second it, yes.
Okay, good. Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes. That's what,
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
that's what happens when you have meetings before these. In the
I
morning.
know.
So it's like,
I have been confused
Thank you.
ever since we walked in here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Ryan, it's all your fault.
Wow.
the second add-on for consideration is it's a resolution for authorization to sign non-disclosure agreements. So I have that information for you. We want to add that, and then I'll let Mr. Strive discuss that.
Okay.
So we need a motion to add this one.
Yes.
I'll make the motion to add.
I have a second.
Second. I was trying to read it.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Now we'll read.
Strive.
Good morning, Commissioners, or good afternoon, good morning, still.
It's your fault we're like this.
This is on the recommendation of Brian C. Shrive, Assistant County Prosecutor for the Board of County Commissioners, to adopt this resolution resolving to authorize the county administrator to execute non-disclosure agreements on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners in furtherance of economic development projects. Commissioners, this arises, we've have the good fortune of having a number of economic development projects of interest looking at Clermont County, and in order to facilitate some of those discussions, it would be easier to allow the county administrator to execute non-disclosure agreements so that we can share information and receive information from these potential projects without delay. I would note that the resolution calls it any agreement that the commissioner, that Ms. Draggle would be authorized to execute would need to first be reviewed and approved by the prosecutor's office before he can execute those.
I need a moment just to read
Yeah,
this. It's
absolutely.
like,
It would be resolution number 166-22.
thank you.
May I ask who typed this up?
I did. Did I?
What's my name?
Oh.
You and Wade need to have a class.
We will get that corrected. I think did I send a Word version up to Angie? We can get Angie. We'll get that corrected.
That fixed.
So Brian, what brings this to the board? In my specific reason for that is that usually non-disclosure agreements happen on a level that's usually somewhere in the Port Authority or somewhere in the CIC.
Yeah, depending on who it's going through.
Yeah.
Right. So
Right.
if they're seeking,
And so Tom's really not the entity on those two groups. There is a director in each one of those groups that usually signs an NDA.
if they're working with the port, that's probably more like when they're looking at getting specific economic development assistance. These are ones where they're an entity needs to share information with county agencies in order to determine whether, if the engineer, you talk to the engineer and say, hey, we need, we're going to run 800,000 trucks down 32 every week. Do we have the roadway capacity or something like that? So that it would be information that they would share with a county agency rather than with just the Port Authority, for example.
And really, I'm a proponent that if an NDA needs to be signed with the board, we have a board president and we have 2 other board members. And if they choose to sign for that, I'm not in favor of having the administrator sign an NDA on my behalf.
I think the concern is just trying to keep, when they ask for the NDA, we're then, if we come to the board, now the world, now we've kind of somewhat defeated the purpose of the NDA to some degree.
Well, I know on the NDAs, like in, the Port Authority or the CIC, there's a code name used for that project or whatever that request is. And the actual company is not, disclosed at that point. A good point in case is, we'll just throw it out here, is Nestle Purina. The project name for that was Project Green Acres. And it was never disclosed that was Nestle Purina until, documents of the project specifics were signed. And typically that's how it's done on an NDA. But understood.
My other point would be under item number 2, is you said that it must be, the agreement must be approved as to the form by the Clermont County prosecutor or other legal representation, like if we went outside the prosecutors and had another legal represent, like we did.
We do. That your point is exactly correct, because in many cases it's whoever the legal representation is for. And again, I wouldn't want to involve
To
that.
the attorney for the board.
Yeah, because you have an attorney represented for the CIC and you have an attorney represented for the Port Authority. And that's where that actually happens.
And this is, this is specific to where the county itself is sought to be a part of a non-disclosure agreement, not the Port Authority, not the CIC.
Yeah, it's not something that I'm inclined to do.
I mean, the CIC and the Port Authority has their own attorney, so why do you have to bring another one in?
You don't.
Is there an urgency to do something on this right away, or can we mull it over and think about what we're doing and add the correct names and go ahead and add the other points?
The commissioners, this is, the commissioners can take this up at any time.
Okay.
But
we don't have to take it up
we'll have-
today.
And
Probably.
just as a question, what brought this to the
Yeah.
board this morning as an add-on?
Mr. Shrive had asked that we process this just in case we have in the future something come to us, and as the administrator would represent anything that comes to the BCC departments, that I would sign the non-disclosure on behalf of those individuals rather than each individual having to sign an agreement. Is that?
Yes, but again, but even in those cases, right, trying to think of a department head. The department head can't bind the county, right? Without the authority of the commissioner. So even if we were to have
Actually, he can bind the county if it's under a certain dollar amount, because this board has given him that authority.
Yeah.
But these are not. Yeah, there's not a dollar amount associated with a non-disclosure agreement. It's not a. It's not a.
But if we were
So-
looking at a piece of property, wouldn't that go through Mr. McNamara? And then the attorney representing the CIC or the Port Authority wouldn't?
But that's a different.
But if this would be if it's coming the other direction.
I'll just give you a hypothetical. If Clermont County was looking for economic development property, that probably would be done through one of those two entities.
Right.
And the county would not be disclosed as to even being the inquirer to that property. Because the minute that happens, then
Your
property that someone would have sold for $100,000 becomes
goes
$1 million.
This would be more along the lines of I'm considering, as a property owner, I'm considering doing some work to my property. And I need to know whether it's feasible to use it that way. And so I would need to talk to county departments to say, can you provide the services I need? I think of, when there was a property annexed into Loveland and there was water service and the property owner determined they could use I think it was might have been Western Water rather than Clermont County Water Works because of the location of the utilities, the pre-existing utilities. It's not a matter of that the county's seeking information. It's that a property owner is saying, I need to be able to determine whether you have the capacity in roadway or whatever to satisfy the need I'm going to have if I go through and do this project. And I don't want to tell the world that I'm thinking about doing this project just yet, because I want to price it out, whether I do it on my property in Clermont County or my property in Brown County or wherever. And so I need the county to not disclose that I've called and asked for this information or shared the information about as part of that request.
Yeah, to me, an NDA is usually used to not give away someone's competitive advantage or someone's proprietary information. And it really puts a thumb right on transparency to the citizens of Clermont County. So in my particular case, I don't want somebody else doing an NDA on my particular benefit. And if you want to move this to another meeting, that's fine. But if you want to, I would say, we've had a reading of that. I would move to vote on it if that's okay. So, you have a motion.
We do.
We do.
Roll call.
Well, you need a second. Do we have?
I thought we had them.
Did you first?
You've called the question.
Okay, I'll second.
Commissioner Painter,
No.
Commissioner Corcoran,
No.
Commissioner Batchelor.
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fails.
Okay, moving on to item G, county staff elected official discussion.
I have two items today. First one, number 18, we just got some clarification. I did make number 18, which was the motion that Connie Tibby presented based on contingent upon 2023 appropriations. And actually, we got information that it was not going to be paid from 2023 appropriations, but it will be paid out of this year's appropriations. That's why that wasn't added. So if we go ahead and take the motion as it was with those comments that we have reviewed it, and I will make a note of that.
So we'll do
Yeah,
8.
just note that it's not.
I'll note that, and yes, on the minutes so that we've got the information right now. One other thing is we have a conflict, sort of a conflict, but not a conflict yet, on December 7th and December 14th.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So we're done with the additions to the agenda. So if we want to move on to the discussions, we have to move on.
Oh, I thought you called staff
I did.
discussion. You didn't?
I did.
Okay, okay.
She did.
All right. So on those two dates, Duke's Energy Pipeline Safety Academy is having some training from 8 to 11 on both days. We will not be in session on December 7th. That is CCAO Winter Conference. On Wednesday, December 4th, we do have session that day at 10 o'clock. We thought there was going to be a Port Authority meeting on that day, but now I guess it's moving to the 15th. So if you want to move Wednesday, December 14th to 2 o'clock, we have an opening. If you want to keep it on the 14th, you just need to let me know.
My question is before while we're discussing this, isn't that the day on the 14th that we're doing the budget?
It is the day we are doing the budget, yes.
That can be a.
We're doing, Mary's going to present.
Okay.
It is.
And sitting here, I don't know if I have anything on my calendar on the 15th.
Yes. And I think, I mean, we could possibly move it to the next week, but I think there are things that are coming in that, I mean,
Need to be paid. for
Yeah.
and addressed. Okay.
Anything earth-shattering on the 15th that anybody knows of?
Sitting right here right now, not that I know of. When Port Authorities actually win.
Port Authority was on the 14th at
Yeah.
2 o'clock. I just spoke to Mr. McNamara before we came in here, and they have already moved it to the 15th because of FC Cincinnati's facility being available on that date.
Okay, and that'll be at 2 o'clock, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so what is there? I don't have a calendar in front of me. What does anybody have then on the 15th, on that Thursday?
Well, if the Port Authorities moved to the 15th, then why wouldn't we move session to the afternoon of the 14th?
I'm just asking.
Is that a possibility?
How long is the budget meeting? How long is that going to take, Mary?
I can make it as short as you want.
Well,
We're doing a presentation on the 28th, so depending on what comes
Okay.
out of that meeting on the 28th, if there are changes or few changes, then it can be very short.
Why can't we have it on the 14th in the morning? What's going on?
As long as you have two people here, we're okay.
Oh, is that when you're at CCAO, Dave?
Yeah, we're at CCAO from, I think that's right?
We're going on
CCAO's
Thursday.
in the week of, that's the December
Right.
7th.
Yes.
Right, that's December
So
7th.
The 14th,
It's the following week.
is the following.
right.
If there's nothing.
Right.
Then
I mean, we can have two members be here. We can move that. I mean, it is simply up to you folks.
Okay, the 14th is a vote on the budget. And is there a conflict with the 14th in the morning?
It
Well,
would
the
be
conflict
this,
with the 14th in the morning is this Duke training.
yes.
Do we have other
If you wanna
staff
go to
going
it.
to that? Or not?
I have signed up for the 7th.
Okay, I'm confused.
So they're doing two sessions,
doing
one on
two
the
different
7th
ones.
and one on the 14th.
Yes.
The 7th is a
You're right.
CCAO week.
Starts on
CAO
Wednesday,
meeting,
Right.
yes.
Starts, and what date were you guys coming up?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Okay, so you're coming up the next day. So you could go to it then.
So we moved the 7th meeting to the 5th
Yes.
because
Mhm.
of CCAO.
Right.
So now we have a conflict on the 14th.
So you
So
The-
since the Port Authority was moved to the 15th,
As this.
Why don't we
the
just,
the afternoon is open on the 14th.
14th, why don't we just do it in the afternoon of
If
the
the-
14th?
if your
That takes
schedule
it
is-
completely out of there.
It's just it's the vote on the budget, so
Okay,
Yeah, there isn't anything pressing on the afternoon of the
we
14th.
can come back on the 28th if the board wants to check their schedules and then come back on the 28th and decide.
I'm looking at what I have here, but I don't have your personal schedules in
Yeah,
front of me,
that's-
so.
Rather
I
just
I
wait.
mean, we can always do it on the 28th.
you do it.
I just wanted to give you plenty of time because I'm sure you have to register for that.
That works good.
Okay, so we'll just come back on the 28th and make that decision.
Great.
Okay,
My calendar and then we'll
that's fine.
be all right. Okay. Give us all a chance to look at it.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Gail?
I don't have anything.
I've got a quick thing for the board. So we put together a video promoting our dog licenses. So I think they want to show that, and then Mike has some information to share as well. So do you want to show the video first, Mike, or you want?
I want to say a few things first and then.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Thanks, everybody, for the opportunity. We're going to show a couple of videos. They're the start of a series produced by David Scheibenzuver, our multimedia specialist in the Public Information Office. And they're part of a campaign that was developed by our office, county administration, and animal shelter leadership. For those of you who might not know, dog license sales provide an important source of revenue for the animal shelter. And dog license sales have declined. They were $319,000 in 2013, $279,000 in 2021. And through September 27th, sales were at $239,000. So, we really want to drive the message to the public that if you love dogs, licensures, Clermont County remains committed, as you guys have stated often, to having a top quality, no kill facility. And licenses payments help the county care for abandoned and injured dogs and reunite lost dogs with owners and get dogs adopted. And December 1st through January 31st is a great time to get a dog license because the cost doubles after that. They're $16 during that time period, or you can get a 3-year license for $48 or a permanent one for $160. And I'm almost done. Dog licenses can be purchased or renewed online at clermontcounty.docupet.com. And also people can print out an application there and mail it into the auditor's office if they don't want to do it online with a check payable to the treasurer. And you can renew them in person at the auditor's office downstairs or at the animal shelter. And so as you'll see, these videos kind of really drive home those key points. And we really, Tim was saying beforehand that really there's a potential to pull in $1.6 million if everybody would get their license. So, we're really looking forward to really, with David's creativity and everybody's input and everything, to really seeing those numbers go up. And it's just really going to do a lot of great things for dogs here. And
Where do you see your video if they go to the Clermont?
they're on our YouTube channel.
Right.
And they're also, we just started yesterday sharing them on social media, on our Facebook page, Nextdoor, Twitter. There's even a panel on our homepage now of the ClermontCountyOhio.gov website where you can click there and it'll take you to more information. Yeah, good question. Thank you.
Thank you.
David, it's all yours.
If you love dogs, license yours today. Clermont County remains committed to staying a top quality, no-kill facility. Dog license fees provide an important source of income for the Clermont County Animal Shelter. December 1st through January 31st is a great time to purchase a dog license. The cost doubles after that. 1-year dog licenses are $16, 3-year dog licenses are $48, and permanent dog licenses are $160. Dog licenses can be purchased or renewed online at clermontcounty.docupet.com. So get yours now. That's the first one. If you love dogs, license yours today. December 1st through January 31st is a great time to purchase a dog license. The cost doubles after that. Dog licenses can be purchased or renewed online at clermontcounty.docupet.com. Residents can also renew licenses at the Clermont County Auditor's Office. Residents may also print a dog license application and mail it to the Clermont County Auditor's Office with a check payable to the Clermont County Treasurer. Residents can also renew licenses at the Clermont County Animal Shelter located at 4025 Villiger Road, Batavia, Ohio. All tags are mailed directly to you, whether purchased online or in person. Remember, December 1st through January 31st is a great time to purchase a dog license. So get yours now.
Method?
I'm sorry.
Can you do that with credit card also?
Yes, yeah.
Because I think we said check, didn't we? Is there any?
Yes.
That's if you print it out and mail it in.
Yeah.
If you do it, it's credit.
If you do it on the DocuPad,
It'll let you do it.
You can put your credit card right in.
Yeah, I mean, really, we would really like to stress to use the DocuPad. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
You just do it really quickly.
Then they mail you your tag, don't they?
Right.
they mail them for it no matter what you do. If you come in
Wow.
person,
Mhm.
they still mail it.
Mail them back. That's nice.
So it's just more convenient to go to
I haven't done
DocuPad. And once you register your dog next year, that's all done. All you have to do is just update any information, and then it'll take less time when you renew.
Yeah, it's really easy.
I wanted to take 3 of those dogs home right now, but I'm not going to.
Well, the white one you can't have because it's his.
I was going to ask him that. Is that yours? Really? Nice.
It might be a few days' work. You might not. Worry about giving it.
But Tim can show you a lot of nice ones.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
How's the adoption going?
They're slow. I mean, but they're still rolling through from time to time.
But everyone you get rid of, you get 2 more. I mean, if you watch Facebook, you're every day you're picking up a dog somewhere.
Well, yes, but some of those are also just courtesy posts too. That
Yeah.
folks out in the community have found a dog, and they'll hit us up on Facebook or contact the shelter by email or something like that, asking if we have the dog. Well, I want to try to also help them with that.
Okay.
And try to put it out on our Facebook page just to get a little bit more coverage on it. So some of
Okay.
those are courtesy posts that we don't
Yeah.
have dogs.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, a big part of our campaign is really great. Tim has a lot of connections in the community. So he's working a lot with law enforcement, and we've sent stuff to schools to see if they could announce it on their PA. I mean, we're doing all kinds of things. And one point that we will be making more later on is it's the law. You know, you could get fined if you don't get a dog license. But right now, we're educating people. You know, here's how you do it. It's really easy to do it. It's cheaper now. You know, so people can't say, well, I didn't know. You know, we really want to make people aware of just how easy it is and you know, just the many benefits too.
So Michael, but if they go in right now and do it, they're going to have to do it again during those dates, right?
No, you can
You
get
mean for this year?
You can,
Yeah, for this year. But I mean, for next year, if you do it now, does that count toward next year?
I believe so.
I believe so.
I'm going to have to check into DocuPad on that.
I think it opens
The
on
exact
December 1st
to know the exact
December?
answer, because
December
That's
1st for next year.
you are
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
If you purchase one now, does it expire in like 2 weeks?
That's what I was wondering.
The thing that I'm going to say a little bit maybe no on is last night I was down to investigate an issue with 2 dogs in Moscow. And anytime I go on any type of run, it's our policy that's like, you need to register your dog now to avoid a citation. And this gentleman was fully cooperative. He opted to do the 3-year, and I know because I did it all on my phone for him.
Nice.
And he opted to do the 3-year, and it showed that it didn't expire until January 1st, 2026.
So it probably covers.
So it's actually 3 years that it gave him the credit for now.
Okay.
Nice.
So it's to their
That's a
benefit.
great idea doing it on your phone. Nice videos. I like them.
They did a nice
Good
job.
job.
If your dog's missing, you know what happened.
You're going to take David's?
Oh, yes. He goes, hey, come get her.
Go ahead.
Her horses
Thank you,
want a
Mike.
dog for Christmas.
I'll trade you a horse for a dog.
Okay.
Mike.
Anything else from elected officials?
Nothing.
David,
Members?
members?
Yeah, talk about Operation Greenlight. I thought that was, it involved a whole lot of people in Clermont County. It started all the way from the National Association of Counties, came to here and all other states. And, I just think the team of Wade and his people that actually went about Clermont County getting all those green lights in. And if you got to see them in the evening or you've seen the pictures,
I
it was,
did after I left the meeting the other night downstairs. They were lit, so. it was
from
nice.
Ken and Frank at VSO to Wade and his crew helping out with that. And, obviously it was a great success. So I know National Association of Counties in their newsletter, I'm sure you got a copy of that. Every week they were putting information out there and showing different courthouses lit up all over the United States. And, recognizing veterans, but also recognizing, their access to the benefits that, they served honorably to gain, was a great effort by everyone.
Ms. Corcoran?
Nothing today, thank you.
One other thing I did want to mention was, I just wanted to mention the One Ohio board has went on really well. And it allows each of the 7 counties to appoint 3 people. One person is appointed from the Township Association. One is appointed from the largest municipality. And the commissioners in each one of those counties get to appoint a person. I just want to throw it out here to the board. Obviously, we can have a conversation about that. You have the option to make that position however you want to do it. You can appoint somebody to that position. We can take applications from our board website, or we can designate that as it being the president of the board fills that position, however you want to do that. One of the things I would just point out is that these 21 board members that are going to come on there, they are going to have to not only establish this board, but they're going to have to put the very first meeting together. They're going to have to put some articles together and some procedures and actually make that board operate. Once the board gets up operating as its 21 founding members, then those board members can decide whether to expand that board, bring in some subject matter experts in that kind of thing. So I didn't know what your pleasure would be. We've taken it. I think we have three entities in our county left: Shiloh, Neville, and Franklin Township. Every one of the rest of the 25, villages, townships, and cities have all participated and have all done their paperwork. So now I can't speak for the other 6 counties. I don't know exactly where they are in that process, or when they'll want to stand up this 21-person founding board. I know I've received one application from that. If it's the board's desire, I'd gladly fill out an application for it. If it's the board's desire to make that an automatic presidential, that's fine too. Either way, I just want to make sure that after all the work that the 3 of us have been involved in, that we get that board stood up and it operating correctly so that we get good representation on there as far as being able to draw down that 55% money and, those types of issues. So.
And what's the deadline on that?
There really isn't a
There
deadline
isn't?
on it. I mean, it's kind of whoever gets on there and calls a meeting and then asks for those other board of directors to come, will kind of set the stage for where they are. Has Greene County appointed their 3, has Butler County appointed their 3. And then keep in mind, those 21 members are going to elect a chairman and a second, and a treasurer and a secretary, and then that will go forward then. So I just want to make sure you're aware.
Who then appoints that township association representative?
Township Association is the president of the Township Association.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
That's in the articles.
All right, good.
And then the largest municipality gets to appoint.
Which would be Miami.
Well, it was Milford.
Milford. That's right, it is.
So they've appointed a representative, and then the Township Association has appointed Teresa Heiners as their representative to start off on the founding board. And the only one left to appoint is we as commissioners have to appoint a person as our commissioner rep.
Who's the Milford one?
Gosh, I can't think of it. I can see.
Evans? Is it Evans?
No, it was not. It was not.
Huh, okay, thank you.
You bet. But I'll get that to you right after this meeting so you can see it. And either way is fine. Is fine.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that since we were kind of the lead organization on it, that we get ours done, even if we're waiting on
a lot of others. So
Do they have any idea when they're going to set their meetings or what their schedule's going to be like?
they
at
don't.
this point?
That's the thing that really brings it to fruition, is that we've kind of been dependent on,
Yeah.
as a board of commissioners to do that.
Okay.
I can foresee us still being dependent on for that until we get the things set up and operating, right? And this board has the ability to appoint somebody for a 2-year period. You can appoint somebody for a 1-year period to get the thing stood up, so,
Get it started.
right. But it
Well, what do you
needs
do,
to be
like,
started.
with Shiloh and who else was it you said?
It's just a matter
I
of
mean,
going in
those
there.
are so small.
Right.
How are you?
There's 4 pieces of paper that you have to actually fill out to participate in the One Ohio agreement. So what I usually do is I see if that paperwork is coming back. If it's not coming back, I just put the 4 pieces of paper together and then get down there and show them, hey, look, if you fill out these 2 agreements, you will get a check for your 30%. If you fill out these other 2 resolutions that we passed here as the board, then you'll get an opportunity to participate in the 55%, foundation pool. And so most of them, when they see that, and they also see that first checks have come out. Clermont County's check was what, Tom? 167.
163, 167.
They've already been dispersed.
So, and there's a second one due here in December. So, those payments continue for 18 years.
Yeah.
Now you've seen that, like CVS they've bellied up to the table with a settlement. And I understand that Walmart
I saw in the news the other
came
night.
to a settlement too. So the denominator of those funds that are available is increasing as each one of those
So the
asked to be
checks will
included.
grow.
That's correct. So a lot of entities before that thought, well, most of my checks are going to be below $500. I'm not going to mess with that, are starting to see that could change very quickly.
Can add up over 18 years.
Right. And one of the things that we have done is if an entity got a check, but it was less than $500 and it was paid to the county, we're keeping track of that just so they know, hey, we know what portion of that was your money, and by that agreement, you may want to recognize some mechanism where you as a county, if they want that money, can let them draw that money down. So, yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Oh, you're welcome. I just want to make sure you're well versed in that.
Any other member comments?
Okay.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
I will second.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran, Commissioner Batchel.
Yes. Mike, I was going to